I'll just give you a few reminders that I am working towards my big and final goal of the current Stampin' Up! Year. I'm trying to get another $1,100 in personal sales by September 30th. And with that, I would get a bonus that would allow me to purchase a heavy-duty paper cutter that I've had my eyes on for quite some time. The cutter I use now cuts a maximum of 12 sheets of cardstock at a time, but this one would cut several packages. So if you are in need of any Stampin' Up! Supplies, I would love to help you, and please feel free to share this with others as well. I just announced a new class. This is sort of my let's celebrate the end of summer and our transition into fall. So I've got a wonderful class of 8 cards that you're going to make with the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set and sunflower dies. And you can pre-order that starting today. It's $36 to make 8 cards. You'll get all the materials, the envelopes, a bolt of the gingham ribbon like I used here, and priority shipping for the $36. If you need to order the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle, you can add it to your class to go order at catalog price. So there is a savings there for you as well. So let's get going with our Make It with Mary Monday project. I hope you brought some supplies with you so you can craft along with me. If not, perhaps you'll make this later in the day or tomorrow. But this is my sample using those the designer series papers and cardstocks given with the dimensions I've given you this morning. So let me show you how I made this. Quick and simple, and it's easy to add some, make some changes to it if you want to. You could easily make this a horizontal card, just turning a few things. All right, so I'm starting with a card base that measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. And if you do the other one, you know, the opposite, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches, it's okay too, because your card base, your finished card base is going to be the same size. I then am going to add a piece of designer series paper that measures 4 1/4, I'm sorry, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I should put out the sample so you can see what it looks like while I'm making this. Then I said you would need a strip that measures 1 3/4 inches by 5 1/4. Now on here, I put it towards the left half of my card front. I'm going to change it up a bit and put this in the center because that's what I do. You know, I like to show you some alternate ways of using a new card sketch. So this is one that we're changing up just a little bit. Now, I mentioned before about changing up your card to the opposite direction. If you're doing that, you want to be careful of which direction you're cutting your paper. It would work fine with this one, and I would change that direction of the bells and of course my sentiment, but everything else works pretty well. But on this one, you would obviously need to cut the designer series paper the same size, but the opposite direction, because you want, if it's directional paper, you definitely want the images going in the correct direction. Then I said you would need 2-inch squares and 2 1/4 inch squares. And I chose to use designer series paper layered onto cardstock. Another option would be on one of these squares to do a stamped image. So say, for example, if you were, going to layer them like this on here, instead of using designer series paper, you might choose to do a stamped image, maybe a sentiment that fits in there. You could also do it like this and add your sentiment to the top of the squares. Now right here, I'm going to show you there's a couple ways you can lay this out using the very same pieces or size pieces that I used in my first card. This would be one way, or you put this one on top. You could do something like this, have them in each corner. You could do it like I did on the first one, but maybe more in the center of the card, like that. Does anybody have a preference? Because you can be designing along with me, or you can give me your thoughts on which way I should adhere those squares, the layered squares. I'll do whatever is the first answer I get from one of you. Oh, Sally, I'm glad I could give you a break from your weeding. Weeding out clothes. That's something I need to do in my closet. Thanks, Sharon and Holly and Tracy and Barb, for joining in. I'm glad you're here. Nobody comments, I'm going to have to make a decision myself. I think I'm going to adhere them just as they are right now. Okay. So I'm going to pop both of these up on dimensionals. We've got a small group this morning. I wonder where everybody is, sleeping in. Usually we have a pretty good turnout on Monday mornings. Sally says the first way, and I can't remember what was the first way, like this. Sally, want to confirm with me? There's still time to change because I have not adhered the squares yet. You can see I'm down to my last bit of dimensionals, that edge, so I'm just tearing off the pieces. Yes, this way. Okay. Not sure if I think I'll go this way. Put the candy canes at the bottom. Thanks for your help designing this morning, Sally. Remember, any and all of these products used can be purchased on my online store, www.maryknabe.stampinup.net. Okay, just like that. Now, I do want to add a sentiment, and today I've pulled out, and we'll add some, let me finish the inside first. A lot of times I like to layer a sentiment in between. I will take your creative idea, Sally, and work with that. I've cut a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm layering Whisper White on top of that, which is 5 inches by 3 3/4. I think sometimes when you add a little layering or maybe a strip of DSP or stamp a little image or something in the inside of your card, that makes it a little more interesting and fun as well. Okay, as I was about to do, I was just about to stamp a sentiment from the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set. So I will grab a block and do that now. And I'm going to stamp Thinking of You at Christmas. And I'm going to stamp that with cherry cobbler. If you were not on just a little bit ago, when I started at 11, Facebook interrupted, so I had to go out and restart. But before I post this to my YouTube channel or blog this week, I will combine combine the two videos into one. So Joyce Letterby, I'm not sure if you were on earlier, but you'll see an earlier, after this, you'll see that there's an earlier video where we started. All right, and Sally suggested that we put this in the middle. And honestly, I think either the top square or the middle, both of those would be great choices, but I'm going to use Sally's idea and put my sentiment that I punched out in the middle between the two squares, just like that. And then I've pulled out some embellishments to use. On the first one, I used the sheer real red ribbon to make the bow, and then I added some holiday rhinestones in the green. I just had an idea that I could, I'm not sure if this will, I was thinking, can I put this behind? Not loving that. So I think I'll stick with my first idea. And I'm going to use, this is from, this pretty ribbon is from the Wonder of the Season ribbon combo pack. So you get this pretty ribbon, green ribbon with the gold twine. So, and I think I'll make a double bow this time with the gold trim, just to show it off a little bit more. When I make a double or triple bow, I just use that many strands of ribbon or twine or trim, whatever I'm using. And they get tied at the same time together. Good morning, Joyce and Marilyn. Hi, Susan. And I'm going to add that above. If you're just joining me in the last few minutes, I did start my live at 11 o'clock, but unfortunately, it got interrupted. That hasn't happened in a while, so I was a little bit surprised. So I had to go back and restart. So you're seeing the second half. When I put all this, all these things on my YouTube channel and blog and Facebook Lives or Facebook sites later, I will combine both the first video to this one so it appears as one and you can see the whole thing. Very frustrating, but something I cannot control. Okay, so now I'm going to use these holiday rhinestones. These were out in our holiday catalog last year, and they brought them back this year. So I'm thrilled about that. You can see where I added them on my first card. And I think this time I'm going to use 3 of the cherry cobbler ones. And these are 3 sizes, I believe. Yes, small, medium, and large. And the 5 colors, so very versatile, something great for you to use not only during the holiday season, but throughout the year as well on any of your cards or paper crafts. All right, so there's my finished card. I used the same size pieces of cardstock and designer series paper on both of them, but I made 2 completely different cards with 2 different layouts. So I hope you've enjoyed today's Make It With Mary Monday, and I hope that you will use this card sketch and give this a try. Today I introduced a new class to go, which I'm using to celebrate the end of summer and our transition into autumn. So I've chosen cards made with the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. So a nice selection of cards for you to use throughout the year for lots of different occasions. That's $36 to make 8 cards. You'll get a full bolt of the bumblebee gingham ribbon and envelopes, everything you need to make these, and priority shipping for that price. And then if you need to purchase the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle to complete the class, you can add that on to your class to go order at catalog price. So a nice savings for you. I hope I get to see some of the cards you make using this sketch later today or even later this week. Please post what you make. I love seeing your ideas, and other people on the site appreciate seeing your ideas as well, because we can all inspire each other. Have a great Monday and a good week. I will see you soon.